Good morning. I'm Justin Greathouse. This is my morning walk. If this is your first time joining me, this is a unfiltered, probably unedited video or podcast, depending on where you're tuning in, of me talking with you while I do my morning walk. Pretty much what I do is I spend a lot of my time reading and listening to other podcasts and learning stuff. And so what I get out of those, I want to turn around and kind of share with you. So, because this is my morning walk, the camera might be shaky. My arm may get tired, so you may get a little lower of a view. I probably will be looking around. I've got some notes that I try to follow, but more importantly, I want to make sure that I don't get hit by a car. There may be some background noise, cars driving by, birds chirping, dogs barking. There's a shipyard down the road, so they have like air horns that go off every once in a while, so you may hear that. But anyway, let's go for a walk. So today I wanted to talk about dealing with negativity. And so the negativity I wanted to talk about is a little bit external, but it's more internal. And what I've found and read about and heard is basically what you can think about is any negativity that feels like it's coming from the external is more something on the internal. If someone's giving you a hard time about being a bad parent, but in your heart you know you're an amazing parent, that's not really gonna have any effect on you. But if someone does bring up something about you that you feel a little bit shameful about, maybe you do know that you spend a little bit too much time on your phone, not enough time with your kids, or I know I suffer from that. So someone brings up something about your parenting and you feel a little bit shameful, then that's going to be a negative that does affect you. You're going to feel that. And so that's what we're going to be talking about a little bit here. So negativity itself exists in the conscious mind. Now, it does have a way of moving itself into the subconscious mind, and we'll get into that. So basically, everything that we feel affects us on the outside. It's coming from somewhere on the inside, like I talked about. And this stems from both of a shame response and a self-image issue. So like I was saying, if you're confident in yourself about something, chances are you're not going to feel shame about it. You're not going to have a negative response to it. So yeah, there's always that. Let's see. We learn through memory based on our senses. So what we hear over and over again, that kind of becomes what gets stuck in our mind. What we think over and over again, what we feel, what we see. So a lot of people tend to think about negativity, follow negativity, kind of hold negativity in their mind. So what that ends up doing is that will, sooner or later, start to attract negativity. So what your mind focuses on is what it tends to attract. So if you want to avoid negativity in your life, don't focus on the negativity. So a couple things that you can do to not focus on the negativity. The first one is when you start having a negative thought in your head, you can just think to yourself the word cancel. Because what ends up happening is when you have that negative thought in your head, it starts repeating. Then your reticular activating system starts to focus on that negativity, and then it goes over and over again. Your reticular activating system, RAS, what it does is it's your attention center. Because so much stuff's coming into you all the time, your senses can't pick up on everything. So what ends up happening is if you are focusing on something, that's all that you're seeing, that's all that you're getting. So the important thing is to figure out how to break that cycle of what you're paying attention to, what you're seeing, and shift your focus away. So What ends up happening though is if you do continually have a negative emotion or a negative thought or a negative feeling, or you constantly are hearing something negative, it ends up working its way out of your conscious mind and into your subconscious mind. Now, when it's down into your subconscious mind, this is where things like worry, aggression, insecurity. See, I wrote a bunch of them down. Let me find them. Anxiety, offense, resentment, inferiority complexes, they kind of all come from here. And so what ends up happening is, like I said before, you start focusing on the negative, and it takes you in this spiral where you're just going down and down, and it gets worse and worse, and then it becomes very difficult to kind of break yourself out of that. So the best thing to do is, as soon as you start noticing those negativity thoughts and feelings in your life, is to just cancel them immediately. Think to yourself, cancel, say out loud, cancel, whatever it kind of takes to break that cycle from continuing on. Now, if that's not working, and it is too kind of ingrained into your subconscious mind, then what you really want to do is you want to learn how to clear that out. So you can kind of think to yourself clear, but you got to kind of also take a little bit more in-depth action. It's not just a quick 1 second clear, you're good to go. You got to go for a walk or take some time and meditate. And what I like to do is I like to visualize those negative emotions, those negative feelings, as kind of dirt on the floor. And what I'm doing is I'm sweeping it up, just sweeping it up, throwing it away. And that lets me kind of clear out how I'm feeling, clear out those negative feelings. So let's see. If you think about it like this, when you wake up in the morning, you only have so much emotional energy that you can kind of deal with. And so when you're dealing with that negative emotional energy, that's eating up what emotional energy you have. And so when you're limited as to how much emotional energy you have, and you spend what you do have on negativity, you're going to struggle through the rest of the day to come back to happiness, to come back to excited. And so it's important to be able to figure out how to get back to a good state, a good place in your head. And that way you're not so concerned with the negative. Now, something that a lot of people don't know about, and I didn't know about until I heard it on Dave Meltzer podcast, which if you haven't checked him out, you should definitely give him a listen to. But it's about the epigenetic layer. So what that is that's a layer that's kind of over your DNA, and it is essentially how your body reads your DNA. So your DNA is more or less kind of locked in from when you're born. Now there's things that, can affect DNA a little bit here, but that's not really the big thing. The big thing is your epigenetics. So what ends up happening is those initially are passed down from your great grandparents 4 generations back, and it's based on life experience. So the life experience of your great grandparents, your grandparents, your parents, and then you all kind of come together to make this epigenetic layer. And so when you focus on negativity, it ends up modifying the way that your body is actually reading your DNA and your body's cellular response to all of your outside stimuli. So if you're responding with negativity, then your body is focusing on negativity, and then your body stops reading everything the right way. You start experiencing anxiety, depression, going into dark holes, dark places, and then you can go a lot further off the rails than what you should be if you can just kind of learn how to recenter yourself and refocus. I'm a big fan of going on a walk, obviously, and like I said before, meditation's also really good. I have a little bit of ADD, so I have a hard time with meditation, but I still do try. I can go maybe 5 minutes or so. Some people say you need 20 minutes twice a day, but you got to start somewhere. So anyway, let's see. Okay, yeah, so when your personality traits, more or less, get activated by that epigenetic layer, then what that ends up doing is that starts pulling in your negative personality traits and making them stronger, more active. Things that cause you to follow addiction, go into escapism, anger, shut down, which as a man, those are the most popular ones. When you start feeling something that's negative, most men respond to negativity and shame with either anger or shutting down. And then what that does is that ends up leading to resentment, because in your head you're programming that anytime this or that happens, you respond with anger. And then you start attaching that anger to somebody. That somebody ends up becoming the object of your resentment. Typically, that's the people closest to us, like your wife, your kids, or husband. But your significant other, your kids, maybe your brother, your sister, your mom, your dad, anybody that could be close to you tends to be the one that gets targeted with your negativity, your resentment, your anger. And so by learning how to break free of this, you help all aspects of your life, not just your own personal mental health, but your relationships with others around you and those closest to you. But anyway, so that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about today. Quick little talk, short, well, not a short walk. I walk for about 45 minutes every day. So, but these will probably get longer as I go, and we'll see. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me today. Hopefully you get a chance to go for a walk too. I recommend at least trying to get outside for 10-15 minutes. Studies say that if you can do 2 hours a week outside, then your brain chemistry starts to change and you start to experience life in a whole new way. So I recommend starting with 10 minutes and then working your way up. I try to go for 45 minutes every day, but you can get there too. If you want to connect with me at all, you can find me on Facebook or Instagram. I also have a Facebook group called Getting Outdoors for my mental health. I'd love to have you join me in there, share your photos of you getting outdoors. And then if you have any struggles, share them in the group and I'll try and help any way I can, or other members of the group will help as well. If you want to hear about anything in particular, or if you have any comments, please let me know. You can comment either here, send me a message. If you enjoyed what you listened to or what you saw, please subscribe and leave a review. And then tell a friend, or send it to a friend if you've got someone that sees that you think would get some value. If you have anything that you'd like to add in your own journey, also please comment that as well, because I would love to hear more, and I'm always trying to learn. Thank you so much again for checking me out. See you next time. Have an amazing day.